And now to update or coverage rather of the Israel-Hamas war. Well, at least 450,000 Palestinians have fled Rafah, as Israeli officials say they will press ahead with plans for a full-scale ground invasion of the city. Many Gazans who have been forced out of the city were already displaced. Israeli forces struck known locations of aid workers in Gaza at least 8 times since October the 7th, despite agencies providing coordinates to ensure their protection. We have more in this report.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was joined by the President's National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, in a press briefing and says the world should be calling on Hamas to come back to the table and accept a deal to release the hostages and agree to a ceasefire.
Israel put a forward-leaning proposal on the table for a ceasefire and hostage deal. The world should be calling on Hamas to come back to the table and accept a deal. The hostages include Americans and citizens from around the world. The president is determined to bring them safely back to their loved ones. And I met with the families of these American hostages again just this past Friday. They know how hard the president is working on this.
Meanwhile, the UN lost a staff member during the journey to Rafah. Deputy UN spokesperson Farhan Haq says the Secretary General was deeply saddened to learn of the death of a United Nations Department of Safety and Security DSS staff member, an injury to another DSS staffer when their UN vehicle was struck as it traveled to the European hospital in Rafah this morning.
The Secretary General condemns all attacks on UN personnel and calls for a full investigation. He sends his condolences to the family of the fallen staff member. With the conflict in Gaza continuing to take a heavy toll, not only on civilians but also on humanitarian workers, the Secretary General reiterates his urgent appeal for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire and for the release of all hostages.
Pro-Palestinian protesters gathered in Savannah's Johnson Square protesting the ongoing war in Gaza. They were met by a small number of counter-protesters. Savannah police monitored the gathering. A singing group born out of the war in the Gaza Strip has chosen a very poignant site to shoot a music video for their new song, Gaza Siao, in an attempt to document months of destruction and displacement. They, along with hundreds of thousands of citizens in the embattled enclave, have been through. Singers Ismail Halimi and Akram Abduni stood atop the debris of houses leveled by Israeli shelling in the Khan Yunis camp and sang their song, hoping it will remind the world of Gaza and its ongoing struggles. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees revealed that 450,000 people have been forcibly displaced from the city of Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip since May 6. UNRWA reported earlier that more than 150,000 pregnant women face dire health conditions amidst displacement and war in Gaza. For the third day, the IDF continues its large-scale military operation in the Jabalia refugee camp, launching fire belts on Al-Sika Street. The Israeli occupation forces, however, began an operation in the eastern city of Rafah last week, amid regional and international warnings of the repercussions of launching a military operation in the city, which is home to approximately 1.5 million Palestinians who were displaced from across the Strip as a result of Israeli military operations.